What's going on, YouTube, Y'all Squad? This is your boy Yocrates, and this is your review for Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 4, Episode 6. Let's jump right into it. So, we have Mel, Kimmy, and Stormy all meeting up. So, the pajama party is being rehashed, and it's the whole Tiffany versus Storm and Kimmy thing, and Kimmy's just like, no, 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 let me go ahead and draw a line here because that was all her, that wasn't me. Stormy says, they had drinks and, pretty much sort of, kind of, sort of squash stuff, which I don't think that they did. And I'm going to say what I said in reference to Letitia for Stormy. One, I really don't know what her issue is with Tiffany in general, but nothing was really solved. And again, when you really don't dig deep, explore everything, turn over all the rocks and whatnot, and then come to a final conclusion, you haven't fully dealt with whatever it is the situation is. One person might walk away like, oh, we're cool, but the other person might not. So this is more like they're probably going to fall out again, more than likely. And granted, this is a reality show, but I'm just saying in general because people don't practice effective proper communication. Let me see. So Kimmy brings up Kiki being invited to the party, and Destiny and Tisha not being there, more or less the optics and how that looked and all of what went down. And Mel says that she's been friends with Kiki for years. She doesn't care to talk about Tisha. And then Stormy is like, but she does. So this is I don't know because it was almost like a lead in, which the way that played out, it seems as if Mel had a conversation with Stormy and pretty much briefed her on how if something like if this comes up, I want you to be the one to steer the conversation in this direction. That's what I think. I'm not saying that's what happens. I'm just saying it just seems very weird that happened. Granted, yes, it's a general conversation. I'm just saying. Um, and and then she says their relationship has come up, but pretty much not by me. It's all been Kiki. And Kimmy is just like, look, I'd have been at many parties that mailed and through, and I ain't seen Kiki at all of them. Maybe one, two, but I ain't seen her. So okay, all right, friendship, huh? So Mel rehashes her conversation with Destiny. Stormy asks if they'll ever be where they were, and Mel says never. She publicly says things, so she has to publicly be a different way. Now, the latter part of that, I do understand. Where if somebody dogs you out in public, then and they try to apologize, then the apology needs to be public. So the disrespect and the reconciliation all need to be the same exact way, same form and platform and all that good jazz. But again, I think that both of them, like definitely Destiny and Mel, both had a part to play in the demise of their situationship. Because I don't really see it true. Could have been a friendship. I don't know. I don't know because both of them been lying. Anyway, Kimmy brings up Mel's fractured relationships and asks if she would come to Jalen's housewarming because you got an issue with this person, that person. I'm asking you because two of the three gonna be there, and the two of the three meaning who? Damn, I forgot the people. Pretty much everybody but Martel. But anyway, uh, but then uh, Mel says who's gonna be there. Pretty much all but Martel because she got her back, so she's built a pact with her. And pretty much the whole Mel asking if you are throwing an event, don't invite me if you invite him, right? And she says she has her back and she's sticking with not, inviting him if I just said that. And one thing with that is that it's kind of crazy because they do put people in awkward situations and whatnot. Now, I just don't know how I feel about it. Like, I do understand why she's not inviting Martell. Because I'm going to just say it because I'm probably not. I'm going to just finish this and I'm going to say it. I'm sorry. It's first thing in the morning, y'all. Okay? Give me a pass. Mel says, if I wasn't coming, would you invite him? Now Kimmy says no, she wouldn't, because you know, hold on, wait, no, sorry. She said, would you invite? She says, I don't know. And then Mel is like, why don't you know? And she says, because drama follows him and it sucks people in, so no. Now I want to pause here because it seems as if, because again, like let's stop looking at this from us just viewing the show and look at it from they're producing themselves on this reality show. Mel knows her position, so Mel is literally grilling her because she's the quote unquote queen bee. And Kimmy, though I do like Kimmy, I don't like this energy where Kimmy is being ultra submissive to Mel. Like, why? Because some of this is like the whole would you invite him? I don't know. Well, why don't you know? It would have been one of those where it's just like, okay, hold on, pump your brakes. You doing too much right now. And her whole energy was very, I'll run this, so you're going to answer these questions, and they need to be to my liking. I didn't like that. It was just something about that left a bad taste in my mouth. But then Mel says she wishes she was like that when she was going through what she was going through because you were calling him a good person. Now, I appreciate Mel being direct, but she was being very passive aggressive. And it's almost just like she just wanted to, dig a few times at Kimmy. I don't know. Like I'm gonna be honest, both because I haven't said this, but Mel and Martel are both, just energy vampires. Like they literally will, and we're just watching a show, and it's sucking the energy out. Like what the hell? So Kimmy says she will continue to say that he has a good heart because he does have a good heart. Now sometimes he does some, some F, you know what, and that kind of throws things off. But now she did, from my recollection, she did not call him a good person, but she did say that in this moment. She didn't say, well, he is a good person. She just said he has a good heart. But Mel says she will come after all of that. Okay, whatever. So now we got Destiny and Martell. So they talk about Mel. The whole rehash of, prior events happen. Martell feels that she's trying to turn everyone against him, and this is a partial truth. Is she? Yes. But at the same exact time, you have put yourself in a situation, you have created scenarios, you have done things that has made it easy for her to do that. Because had you just cheated on Mel and not involved any of the other husbands and wives into your shenanigans and buffoonery, it probably wouldn't be an issue. And it would probably be one of those where it's like, okay, well, you cheated on her. That ain't got nothing to do with me. My name Bennett. I ain't in it. But I can still somewhat deal with you. But no, you went on a whole tirade sitting here, capping off at everybody. And at the same time, when you and Mel decided y'all were going to come back as a united front, the both of y'all did not. I still don't understand why some of them don't have some of that same energy for Melody, but they ain't none of my business. Um, Destiny says, she rolled hard for Mel, and Martell agrees. And we did see some of the flashbacks, and it was kind of interesting that Martell did agree with. Well, I mean, I guess he had no choice but to agree because he was, being held to the fire and whatnot. And Martell hopes that they can mend. I'm not going to really dig too deep into the whole Destiny and Mel thing because, again, I don't have the energy to do. So we get Wanda and Tisha. So Wanda comes because she wants to talk to Marceau for the food truck deposit, but he's not there. He's at Black. I'm pretty sure she knew where he was at. Calling card, all that good jazz, whatever. She got her, business license. Kudos to you for that. Tisha says he'll invest, but was upset with the line of questioning. And I'm not going to say that she was wrong for the questioning, but time and place. Because if you came over to talk business with your son in law, that whole entire duration that you were there should have been just business. And then you should have brought up the whole having a secret apartment thing on a different day, different scene, whatever. But the fact that you did both of those at the same time, yeah, that's going to make somebody feel away. Like, if my intent is to talk business, all I want to do is talk business, and after that, just happy stuff. And then the next time I see you, okay, well, let's address, some elephants in the room. Um, Then Tisha brings up, her shadowing at Black, and that Tisha will help her from the financial view. And word on the curb is because we did hear that Marceau said that she's the she has the most shares in the overall business, and it was rumored, because I don't know if it's facts, that his credit was messed up, so all of the businesses are in Tisha's name, which, yeah, you might want to trade lightly if all the businesses in her name, but nevertheless, the fact that everything is running the way that it's running says that from a financial point, she does good work, which, so for Wanda to, shadow under her daughter, I see that good stuff. So cool. Now, when it comes, now you need to shadow somebody like for real in the kitchen, because, and then you also need to talk to somebody because I think you might have taken the pictures of those loaded potatoes. Professional. You need somebody professional to do that because they did not look appealing or pleasing. Miss One, I need for you to get together, baby. Feel it. Wait, what happened? He says that. Oh, okay. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't look at the wrong part of my nose. Okay. So then Tisha brings up talking to Kimmy, and Kiki comes up because she did mention that Kimmy explained the whole if we weren't family that I wouldn't, be your friend and whatnot. And of course, Wanda still, is has an issue with Kimmy, whatever. And but then Tisha explains what their conversation was after that, and now Wanda's just like, my niece? It didn't say that. And Wanda calls her a snake, and Tisha says that what's her name? Kiki feels that she should have the lifestyle that Tisha currently has. And I was just like, ooh, ooh. Now, this is going to come up later on because at first I was just like, are we just, was that shade being thrown? It's going to come up later. And Wanda says, don't trust somebody who don't buy shoes in a box. Um, I'm going to need for y'all to explain that one to me. Okay, now, look, I'm not well. I'm not country per se. My family is from the South because I was born in Chicago, but I have roots in Mississippi and Alabama. So my family is very much country. And sometimes when I talk, y'all can hear the Southern twang, but that's also because I spent what 8 years, 6 years in the South during my time in the military. Nevertheless, what I'm saying is I don't know if that was a country saying or not, but or maybe that's just one of those sayings that you women say. I don't know. Can you let me know? Because I don't know what that meant. Because it seemed like she tried to clean up when she said they are sneaky and a liar, but part of me feels that Wanda didn't even know what she was saying. But okay, y'all let me know if y'all know. Wanda says, why is Kimmy the one to tell you what happened over there when it should have been Kim? Because at first when she said, why is Kimmy saying it, for me it was almost like the whole, anybody that will carry a bone will take a bone. I felt like that's what she was saying. But no, she was saying that Kiki should have been the one to call her cousin and say, hey, I was over here. Your name came up in conversation. This is what I said. So she feels like Kimmy has shedded a little bit of that snake that's in her, but she's still a snake nevertheless. I tell y'all, I just wouldn't even be dealing with them. Like, you're not finna sit here and be dissing me like that and think everything's gonna be cool. Anyway, get a little bit more coffee. I gotta wake up, y'all. I gotta wake up. Okay, so now we get Mel and Tiffany. So I'm finna breeze through the next little bits. So Mel is getting ready for her skin launch, and we know this is something that's going to appear on the show. And one of the content creators on YouTube, Bonnie Blue, shout out to her. What's going on? What's popping? She was there, so it was a great thing. And if I'm not mistaken, this is a relaunch. So her going and redoing everything. So this comes up. We don't go deep into it, but obviously this is going to come up later again because she also had a conversation with Stormy like what 2 episodes ago about this, maybe three. Um, so then baby talk comes up and the whole and medical history because we found out, I believe it was last episode, and it was brought back up this episode that Tiffany almost went on the glory while she was trying to deliver, and met her mother, got her mother's medical history, and is trying to figure out, well, she wants to find her father so she knows his history because she wants to have another child, but she needs to know what both of them were dealing with because she was a foster child. She wants to know the full spectrum, so if she does end up conceiving and having a child, she knows what the possibilities are and can best deal with it rather than having to find out later on through some mess, which is understandable, especially given the fact that with most African Americans, especially if your parents are baby boomers or the silent generation, many of them, just in general, because I'm not even talking about the men, many of them in general don't like to talk about what goes wrong with them, and they like to hold a lot of that to the chest. So to get that information is, it's pretty big. And Mel, talks about being a detective and whatnot, and pretty much kind of nudges her way into going. And it's like, ma'am, if you were really that big of a detective, wouldn't you have already known that Martel was cheating on you before you found out, before you actually started the show? Like, wouldn't you have known, no? And wouldn't you have known that he was? I'm gonna shut the hell up. This ain't none of my business. So now we get Wanda and Kiki. So Kiki says she just moved in, still unpacking, and it's like, one, we don't know if this is really your place. Could be an Airbnb. Also, the like they didn't show it, but typically when the scene is scheduled because there's already a camera on the inside, and then and even though we didn't see that, we know there was camera on the inside, and then there's also the call sheet and whatnot. So you knew you were having this convo with Wanda at your place, and then also for somebody to be sitting here unpacking, you're not going to look that pleasant. Like, you're not going to be did all the way up unpacking. I'm just saying, unless you got somebody else doing it, you just supervising. Um, and she says she's been wanting to, converse with Wanda, and she says I haven't unpacked all of my, wine glasses and whatnot, so I'm being hood rich. And then Wanda said, or hood bitch, and Kiki was like, no, I'm gonna save the hood beef for you. Now I was just like, oh, okay, Kiki, because again, most other people, you not gonna come at your elders like that. It's that whole I can say whatever the hell I want to say to you, but you can't talk to me in the manner in which that I'm talking to you. So I was here for the energy that Kiki was giving back to her. So Wanda tells her what she did, what she heard from Tisha. My first thing is I didn't appreciate the tone that Wanda had. Now I do understand defending your child, even though your child is a grown adult. I do understand defending them because parents they still have that in them, right? Got it. My thing is, if this is your place, or let me say if it was me, you not finna come into the place where I lay my head, that I decompress, that already has an established energy, and bring that energy in. You not gonna do that. And if you come in with that, you will be escorted out. And when you can get your tone and your act right together, then you can come back in here. We can have a conversation. But you not finna disrespect me or come and be crazy in my house. No, you're not. No, you're not. That upset me. But anyway, Kiki says her name did come up, and Wanda says because she. Oh wait. And Wanda says because she was talking about her daughter and she wasn't there, that is a snake thing. It's backstabbing. Because Kiki was saying, like, her name came up. I didn't say nothing defamatory. But Wanda's like, this is a snake-ish. Okay, whatever. Kiki brings up Tisha telling her business. And Wanda, says, okay, well, when that happened, she was talking to her friend. And then Kiki's like, okay, so I was talking to my friend too, so what's the difference? And Wanda's like, but that's not your friend now, even though we all can say that's probably the truth. But Wanda, you can't sit here and tell somebody what the optics look like and what somebody's friendship is. Now, Kiki did say, I believe that she is my friend. Or more or less, Kiki is being a friend to Mel. I don't necessarily think that Mel is being a friend to her. Whatever. Moving on. So then Wanda asked about the timeline of what was like what her business was that was being spread. And she was like, well, like 4 or 5 years ago. And she was like, bitch. And it was one of those where you literally just called your niece a B. But I don't even think it was that. I think it was just like a natural reaction of, I know you lied. And she's upset because if I come at you, I'm coming at you with some new stuff. But here's the reality: you can't do wrong by somebody and tell them when the hell to get over it. And if somebody is still holding on to something that happened years ago, they have every right to. The only issue that I have is, and I said this before, effective, proper communication. Because Tisha walked away like, okay, this was resolved. But Kiki obviously didn't, and she didn't communicate that. So now the other party has no idea you're still holding on to something. So in that aspect, but y'all get what I'm saying. So this is so draining. Let me hurry get through this because we 20 minutes in, and I only got I got one more scene after this. Praise God, because they wear me out. Um, and then Kiki feels so. Then Kiki like re-steers the conversation, and then we learn a little bit about what was going on in the family. So honestly, I don't think that the telling of the business is the root of the issue. But she said what the real problem is you know her father, which is what's her name? Come on, Wanda's brother. They're at odds, like I said, and you had Wanda and them, they grew up, I guess you could say, somewhat in poverty, I guess. And Kiki and her family were a little bit more well off. So that was always the thing between the brother and the sister, and they ended up putting their daughters against each other. And for a while, Kiki never was talking to Tisha because of this divide. At 13, she reached out and all this other stuff. But in the midst of them trying to rekindle a relationship, you still have the parents doing this whole putting them against each other type of thing. And this is the root of what their issue is. And in them saying that, when Letitia said that Kiki feels that she should have the life that I currently have based off of where they were when they were growing up, and now this was confirmed not only by Kiki but also by Wanda. And and Wanda never denied it, but you can see this spirit in Wanda because there is this competitive thing where she does do a lot of comparing and being competitive with her comparing her grandchildren to Mel and Martel's children and all this other stuff. So that is an actual thing, which I'm like, okay, now we're getting some depth and not this frivolous of not saying that her feelings is valid about the room, well, what was being told, but some stuff right here. But what I'm going to say is, even if the parents are in the children's ear, you have to get to a point to where you don't allow that to be an influence. And I get it, in our community, we give our parents so much to where we allow our parents to sit here and ransack our lives, talk to us like we crazy, and all this other stuff. But once the two of you get to a point to where it's just like, we gonna do what we do, we not gonna let our parents sit here and influence what we're trying to build with each other. That will work. Now, based off the mid-season trailer that we got, yeah, it ain't gonna happen. But I'm just saying. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So Tiffany and Lou at an Airbnb for their half anniversary. So I believe they're at a year and a half now, and they're doing every 6 month anniversaries, which is cool. No problem with that. The Utah talk comes up, and Tiff wants to turn this into a girls trip. So pretty much, Lou ain't. She don't want Lou to come, but she wants to bring Mel, and he feels away. Okay, and Lou even asked, like, is this the real reason for this dinner? For pretty much you. So this is not our date night, but pretty much break the news night. Like, is this what this is? And Tiffany brings up, Mel being able to ask her tough questions, this, that, and the third, pretty much insinuating that he wouldn't be able to do that. And the other thing is, so you're just gonna take Mel's word that she can and will ask the tough questions? Okay, all right, okay. And Louis says he understands but isn't happy. And he brings up how her baby's father had helped her find her mother. And he would like to be a part of that process in helping to find the father. And she should allow it. Now, again, if we peel the layers back, all she's doing is aligning herself with Melody because trying to keep themselves on the show. Because again, at the beginning of the season, the only people that were really messing with them was Martel. So let's call a thing and understand where all this is coming from. I said that. So then baby talk comes up, and she mentions how her children are at a point to where they can do for themselves, so she feels like she's losing them, and part of her identity is in her children. And Louis is kind of looking at her, and he even asked her like, well, do you have a plan, like? And I don't think he was asking it in a negative way. It's just like, you work a whole lot, this, that, and the third. I'll support you with it, but do you have a plan in place so that we can do this effectively? And I'm pretty sure, even though they didn't, well, we didn't see it on camera, but I'm pretty sure, probably throughout, maybe a nanny, maybe this, how is all this going to happen to make sure that we give our child the best that we can, especially because I know she's in her mid 30s. I would assume he's probably in his early 40s. I don't know. I'm just saying. So there's that aspect too of them being what, in their 50s, getting ready to sit here and push a child out the house, all that good stuff. Now the one thing that Louis said that I didn't like is, have you thought that I'm allowing you to have time with the boys before they leave? And I'm just like, allow? What, a 1950 hit? Lou, I was on your side up until that point. Allow? Bruh, I understand we live in a patriarchy and most men feel that women are nothing but objects, things for us to control, but that is your wife. That is your other half. That is your helpmate. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because what's gonna happen is you're gonna have all the women sitting here coming at your head for a statement such as that. And I'm pretty sure he didn't mean no harm by it, but that's one of those where he that should have went through his mind several times before it reached his mouth. But that's it. That's all that I have. I gave this review is actually longer than what I thought it was gonna be. But y'all know sometimes I like to talk. And also because I'm a day late and a dollar short with the review, I want to give y'all a little bit extra. But that's all that I have. So again, just to let y'all know, the Whether You Like It or Not panel will be coming back May the 2nd for the first 2 weeks, covering Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then when Basketball Wives come out, then it will be starting Tuesdays. So in the third week of May, let me pull it up right now just so I know. So the 17th, starting May the 17th, we'll be doing it on Tuesdays to compensate for both of those shows being out. Also, we will be rotating on everybody's channel, so everybody will get a turn. So make sure that you are subscribed to everyone. So with that being said, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I hope and pray that you all have a beautiful, fantastic, stress-free week. And yeah, with that being said, the next review for me will be them Jersey Wise. All right, y'all. Peace out.